Welcome to SuperCrowdChicago, live in person at Columbia College Chicago and streaming live internationally on the E360 TV network and across social media.
I'm pretty excited now to introduce our next speaker. Pamela Roussos is someone I met, at least a decade ago. And she's one of the real influencers in this country on social entrepreneurship, a giant expert. I was thrilled when I discovered that she was here in Chicago because we became acquainted when she was out in California. But she is the CEO of Weaving Impact, and she champions social enterprises to reduce the racial wealth gap across U.S. cities. With over 15 years of experience, she supports local partners in building impactful businesses. Previously, she spent years at the Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship, where I met her, following a successful career in the tech industry in California. Pamela, welcome.
Thanks, Devin. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing?
Wonderfully.
It's a beautiful day here in Chicago, and we're powered up and ready to go. So for the next 15 minutes, we're going to talk about the power of social entrepreneurship to build resilient and prosperous communities. My first-hand experience seeing the power of social entrepreneurship was in 2012. I was mentoring an organization called Livelihoods, now known as Solar Sister Kenya. They were based in Nairobi, so I got on a plane and to be able to see the work on the ground. So a day in the life of a sales agent, which is what Livelihoods Now Solar Sister does, is it trains women and youth on how to sell socially responsible products, solar lights and clean cook stoves. And so the day starts at 8 o'clock in the morning in a dingy room in a slum in Nairobi. So I joined the sales and product training, and I was astonished, actually, at how sophisticated it was. And at the end of this training, the entrepreneurs go and pick out the products that they want to sell that day, and they walk around the slum of, in this case, Kanawari in Nairobi. I walked around that day with them, selling products, watching them do that, and then more importantly, hearing the stories. These women were telling me about how now they can send their kids back to school because they can pay the school fees. They feel confident and they're helping and supporting their families. That was the power of social entrepreneurship. And now, 12 years later, Solar Sister is operating in Kenya, in Nigeria, and Tanzania. And just a few months ago, they surpassed having trained 10,000 women. And what does that mean? I can give you the big things. 4.3 million people have access to clean energy, and 1.4 million tons of carbon has been mitigated. And that's the big numbers, but there's 10,000 stories about how this has changed the life of the women, their family, and their communities. I worked at Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship for more than 10 years, or almost 10 years. And I saw the power of social entrepreneurship across the globe in what's traditionally called the Global South. And then when I would come home to San Francisco, I would see the problems in my own backyard. So I started shifting my focus to the US, and that got started by working with a company called Innovation Works in Baltimore. We took the Miller Center model and replicated it in Baltimore for Baltimore. And we knew that if it was successful in Baltimore, that we should expand this model to other cities in the US because Baltimore is not the only one that's suffering from the racial wealth gap. And so that's what Weaving Impact does. And so here in Chicago, we're working with New Life Centers that works primarily in Latino-speaking communities on the West Side. They've been working in these communities for over 15 years, delivering all sorts of services, see the value of adding entrepreneurship to support the entrepreneurs that are in their community, be able to build successful businesses. And so before we continue, I want to just define what does social entrepreneurship mean. To us, social entrepreneurship means using business practices to solve problems and the challenges in these communities, in these disinvested communities. And it could be for-profit, could be nonprofit or hybrid. If it's a nonprofit, we want to see a earned income model. So the definition is very broad. Why is that? These communities need all sorts of impact outcomes. They need health, they need education, they need jobs. And why should we define what they need? The community knows what they need. And so that's when I'm talking about social entrepreneurship, that's what I mean. So this isn't about me. This is about the social entrepreneurs. They're the heroes. And so in the next few minutes, I'd like you to walk away with 3 things to think about in how you can support these heroes. And so these are pictures and logos you'll see. And I wanted to bring these heroes into the room with us so that you can connect with them and be the supporters of these amazing people. So, if we were to drive in the south side of Chicago or west side of Chicago, the Black Butterfly neighborhoods of Baltimore, or the rundown downtown area of San Bernardino, many of us would see disrepair, despair, and hopelessness. And yet, if you go into these communities, you look in those communities, you go in, you sit, and you talk to people in these communities, there are dreams, hopes, and aspirations all over. These people, they know the challenges of their neighborhood, and they're building solutions for those challenges. Some of them are far along, some of them are nascent, some of them are still in people's head. They're not sure how to form it. But there are innovators on every street corner. And these innovators deserve our support. It's apparent that we need to be able to go in and support these because they're the solutions. They're building these solutions. When I think about innovators, I think about Claudia on the west side of Chicago. She was working in a factory, low-paying job, and she's like, I'm not doing myself any good. I'm not doing my family any good. I'm not doing my community any good being here. So she quit her job. And then she looked around at her neighbors and saw skills and capabilities, but no opportunities. And so she was looking at women in their 3rd stage of life. And so she decided to build a catering and cleaning service and hire these women because she knew that they had the capabilities. And that's what gives her great joy, is being able to support the women around her and create income opportunities for them. She's doing this, and I've talked to her. She speaks Spanish, I don't, but I can see the joy at what she talks about being able to hustle for business because more business means more women trained and income opportunities. The second thing is that we need to accompany these entrepreneurs, these innovators. And so what do I mean by accompany? This is a definition that I really like. It came from a paper on community practice at the University of Illinois here in Chicago. So the definition of accompaniment is the power of mutual relationships and that the intentional presence of another committed to walking alongside, deeply listening to, collectively responding with action against systems of oppression can be transformative. So what are some words in that are that we want to pull out? Intentional presence, walking alongside, deeply listening. An important part of our model of working with social entrepreneurs is to pair them up with mentors. And these aren't mentors that just helicopter in, tell an entrepreneur what to do about their business and go out. Our mentors walk alongside. They accompany these entrepreneurs. They are providing the support. They're deeply listening to these entrepreneurs. They know the entrepreneur knows their business. They have the answers, and they need help and guidance sometimes getting to those answers. And so that's what we mean by accompanying these entrepreneurs. We tell the mentors that their goal should be to become a trusted advisor. What does that mean? To be in right relationship with the entrepreneur. And again, deeply listening, intentional presence. That's what mentoring means. And when I think about mentoring, I think about Nikenje Yassin, who leads an organization in Baltimore called Learning How. The first program that we led in Baltimore was in June of 2019. And after 4 days, she came up to me and said, I didn't know I was an entrepreneur, but I'm an entrepreneur. And I said, you're right. You are an entrepreneur. And what is she doing? She's doing, she at the time had an early childhood learning center. And so she had looked around her neighborhood and seen that childcare was a huge issue. And so she built this center. Now, her center looks nothing like a center that would be in my neighborhood. The people, the parents in her neighborhood are working 2 and 3 jobs, first, second, third shift. They're very time starved. They don't have access to services. So her childhood center is open till 11 o'clock at night. And she, during tax season, gets accountants to come in to help the parents as they're dropping off or picking up kids to be able to do their taxes. People cleaning teeth, all these things that are, and so she's responding. She knows the community, she's responding to the community. And so now she's continued to work with her mentors at Innovation Works. She has now 3 centers across Baltimore, and she continues to prosper with the support. And that's what we need to do, is continuously support these entrepreneurs and surround them with everything that they need to be successful. Because entrepreneurship, as we all know, is a journey. It's not a moment in time. So we need to be able to support them and provide them what they need. And the third thing is that we need to help provide the capital that's right for their business. As these organizations that I've talked about, you know that they're not right. They're not going to be venture equity or traditional debt. And I go here at a crowdfunding conference. And so you guys are already innovating on different funding techniques. And I encourage us all to continue to innovate, because these entrepreneurs need innovative funding types. And so Innovation Works has created a subsidiary a subsidiary called Ignite Capital in Baltimore. And what Ignite Capital is the first step on the capital ladder, because these entrepreneurs don't have friends and family that they can go and ask for funding for. So they provide the first step, and they can do that because they've been working with these entrepreneurs, with the mentors. They know what the business is capable of. They've been deeply working with them for 18 to 24 months. And so they can, they've taken out a lot of the risk in the business, and they can invest and be the first step. But we also know that there needs to be a second step and a third step and a fourth step. And most entrepreneurs don't know how to do that. So we need to be able to help them get onto the capital ladder and continue to help them, support them being on the capital ladder. I'm used to venture-backed tech companies. I know that in Silicon Valley, if you got, as a tech company, if you got your Series A from this investor, then you know that your Series B is going to come from this one, or this one. The paths of funding are well understood, but in the impact space, they aren't. And so we need, as investors, to be able to help support these entrepreneurs continue to get the funding they need so that they can continue to grow the impact that they're having in their community. So I just ask us all, as we think about these heroes, these impact entrepreneurs, that we support them, and that I hope with some of these stories that you have more hope than you did before you heard some of these stories, because I'm certainly hopeful for the future, being able to work with and see these entrepreneurs each and every day. So again, there's 3 things that I invite you to do as we think about together today and all the other days, is in supporting these heroes. It's, first of all, recognizing there are innovators at every street corner. The second is that we need to accompany these innovators. Again, they know what they need to do, and so we walk alongside. And the third is making sure that they get the capital that works for their business. Thank you very much.